President Duterte fully supports lowering the minimum age of criminal liability to 9 years old. But people's groups, the Human Rights Commission, and the Vice President oppose the measure. Here are the details.
The proposal to lower the minimum age of criminal liability from 15 years old to 9 years old has hurdled the House Committee on Justice. The committee, chaired by Oriental Mindoro Representative Doy Liachon, approved the measure upon the motion of Deputy Speaker and Capiz Representative Fredenil Castro.
I move that we vote on for the approval of the substitute bill.
The measure seeks to amend RA 10630, the law that retains the minimum age of criminal liability at 15, but provides for children as young as 12 in youth care facilities for more heinous crimes such as rape, murder, and homicide, among others. RA 10630 is actually an amendment to the older RA 9344, or the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006, which says only those who are at least 15 years old could be held criminally liable for their actions. Representative Liachon said it's about time for another amendment so as to protect children from being used by criminal syndicates to evade prosecution and punishment. Liachon clarified that under the bill, children 9 to 14 years old will not be placed in normal prisons, but will be subjected to, quote, mandatory confinement in Bahay Pag-asa and other rehabilitative institutions under the DSWD. He further explained that parents of juvenile delinquents, as well as criminal groups who will be found guilty of exploiting children, will not go scot-free.
Here are the salient points of this amendatory bill. Number one, malinaw po dito, gaya po na napag-usapan namin, wala hong imprisonment dito. There's no imprisonment. There's only mandatory confinement if the age of the child who committed the offense would be 9 years old and below 15 years old, and of course, committed serious offenses which are exclusive, such as murder, parricide, infanticide, serious illegal detention, carnapping, and violation of the dangerous drugs. Ito lang po yung nakalagay na imprisonment at hindi ho imprisonment ito. This is more of rehabilitation and reformation and confinement at the Bahay Pag-asa. Reclusion temporal would be the punishment for the one exploiting the child or children if the crime committed is below 6 years in terms of sentence. Parents would undergo the similar program intervention at the Bahay Pag-asa. And if he will not perform or the parents would not perform, the parents would be incarcerated. First, we are not putting these children in jail, but in reformative institutions to correct their ways and bring back to their community. And second, they are not branded as criminals, but children in conflict of law. Marami pa hong pagtalo-talo, but then we are quite convincing with the advanced technology that our children have become more vulnerable and more exposed to criminal concept and activities.
Contrary to what people's groups are saying, Liachon says the measure is not anti-poor but pro-children. But according to a clinical psychologist, lowering the age of criminal liability is not enough to protect children from criminal syndicates.
Paano pag napuno na yung Bahay Pag-asa? Ano yung mga reformation activities or paano sila ma-rehabilitate by putting them inside sa Bahay Pag-asa? Of course, there should be programs regarding yung ganitong klase na yung kung hindi lang basta sabihin mo na nadala doon, what happens next? Yung kuminsan nawawala yung follow-through after ng ma-confine, ma-rehabilitate or kung talagang nare-rehabilitate nga ba ang mga bata pag galing sa ganyan.
More than lowering the age of criminal liability, Garcia said authorities should prioritize implementing existing laws like rounding up criminal syndicates who abuse the Filipino youth. Vice President Leni Robredo agrees, saying the law should provide children with a chance to start a new life instead of focusing solely on harsher punishments. The Commission on Human Rights also strongly opposes the measure, saying children should not be punished for the failure of institutions that are meant to protect them. After all, the CHR says the Constitution itself is explicit that it is the government's mandate to protect children from all forms of abuse. But no less than Malacanang is giving the bill its full support, saying modern technology has given children as young as 9 years old the ability to discern what is and isn't right. For the palace, This means a 9-year-old child has comparable mental capacity to a 15-year-old. Spokesperson Sal Panelo explains that President Duterte simply wants syndicates to stop using children in their operations just because they cannot be penalized for criminal acts. On a personal level, though, Panelo says it's the parents who should be held accountable for their children.
Because if you have a law that will criminalize this particular age bracket, hindi na gagamitin ng mga kriminal yan kasi useless pala. They're using them now kasi alam nilang free, they can get out. Yun ang purpose ni Presidente. Personally, as a citizen of this country, parents should be accountable for their children. Lalo na mga bata pa, not when they're already of age.
Jess De Los Santos, We Are One News.